Certainly, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, we do have a request for zone map amendment, ZC 15-3, an application by Kevin Rich on behalf of the Wyoming Land Acquisitions 1 LLC. Our subject property is located north of town along I-25, more specifically on the east side of I-25, east of Bar None. We'll have more lengthy conversations, but this is the approximate location of the West Winds interchange right here. The applicant is proposing going from urban agricultural to a commercial zoning district inside the proposed area. Here's a little more zoomed in aerial view of that. This is the subject property they would like to zone from urban agricultural to commercial uses. Again, we've got the town of Bar None to the west, and I-25 going through our map here. Here is standing on Hartford Airfield Road, which is really, really close to where the West Winds interchange is going to occur. This is standing facing north. There is a Verizon tower, and there is a billboard location there too. This is standing on that same Hartfield Airfield Road, viewing eastward. Again, trying to give you guys some bearing of where we're at. Here's I-25 and of course Casper Mountain, Bar None being just on the other side of the interstate there. Again, another view facing southward. Again, it's the same 6 general standards that we discussed at the last hearing. This applicant has chosen criteria number 5. And again, number 5 is the land and its surrounding environs has changed or is changing to such a degree it's in the public's interest to encourage redevelopment. The Toronto County Board of County Commissioners has identified a key goal and policy is to encourage the development of commercial uses at major roadway intersections and highways. Again, we've got I-25 as our most major highway going through our community. We're going to be putting an interchange on the boulevard. So it's in line with our key goals and objectives to endorse a zone change at this location to a commercial use. The owners are aware of the plans of the new interchange along I-25 east of the town of Bar None and within the western boundary of the property, and has had conversations with WYDOT on this very intersection. In urban agricultural, there are few commercial uses which are permitted within the subject property. The applicant would like to start selling and promoting this piece of property as commercial. The zoning district is the first step in doing that. Any further development of it is going to require them to come back with a subdivision plat to us, and at that time we'll discuss the access, the utilities, more of the granular details. This is merely the zoning of the land, the first step. So we'll see them coming back when they actually get a piece of property under contract for that specific use. The applicant's statement continued. The owner would like to install a large advertising sign for advertising the future development and master plan community project within the property, but cannot due to current zoning regulations. That billboard sign that is shown in there is not allowed in urban agricultural, but would be allowed in commercial. The end goal is to sell that property as commercial property, so it would be twofold. It would allow them to market the property, plus it would allow that advertisement sign. In anticipation of the new I-25 interchange and recognizing the significant effect this will have on the properties and the surrounding environment, the owner requests the zone change from urban agricultural to commercial be granted. This will allow for commercial uses within the property as well as the installation of the advertising sign. Proposed finding of fact. Staff does find evidence that the criterion has been met in this case. The property is located where the future Westwind interchange is scheduled by the Wyoming Highway Department. With the interchange, the desire for commercial properties will increase. Within the last 10 years, the area has seen a great deal of growth. The area to the northeast, formerly the B.B. Brooks Ranch, it's advertised as that currently, has upwards of 750 tracts of land for sale. They've sold a large portion of those, and there are folks moving in on those properties. Northern Bar None has also provided for commercial and residential growth northward of Bar None, with commercial being directly west of this proposed zone change. This is all in line with the West Winds Boulevard interchange that is planned to be developed in the near future. Further findings of fact, the zone change is supported by our development plan. Our development plan recommends continued industrial type zoning along I-25. Again, they are requesting a commercial zoning district, not an industrial zoning. As a point of clarification, our land plan is prior to our zoning resolution, so our land plan dictates it as industrial, which in reality it'll be commercial once we get our land plan updated. So this is in line with our development plan. The zone change is also supported by the Natrona County zoning resolution, the goals and policies, by encouraging the development of commercial uses at intersections of major roads. Again, we've got I-25 as our most major thoroughfare through here. Westland Boulevard intersection will be a major intersection there too. Planning and zoning recommendation. At their September 8th meeting, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended denial of the zone change request, with 2 commissioners in favor of the denial and 1 commissioner in opposition to the denial. As of tonight's meeting, 2 written comments of opposition have been received. At the Planning and Zoning Commission, 5 residents spoke in opposition to this proposed zone change. Since the Planning and Zoning meeting, the applicant has met with some of the residents that spoke in opposition to address their concerns associated with the zone change. Staff recommendation. Staff recommends approval by the Board of County Commissioners of the proposed zone change from urban agricultural to the commercial zoning district. Criteria number 5 has been met. The zone change is supported by our development plan, and the zone change is supported by the zoning resolution. Staff also recommends the motion incorporate by reference of facts all findings of facts set forth herein. With that, I'd answer any questions you guys may have.
Questions for Mr. Gutierrez? Thank you. At this time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in favor of zone change 15-3 to please approach the lectern. Please state your name and address for the record.
Okay, my name is Kevin Rich. I'm the applicant. My address is 640 South 4th Street, Louisville, Kentucky. Like I said, I'm here as the actual applicant, and we're representing Wyoming Land Acquisition Partners, who are our clients on this project, landowners and developers. I wasn't present at the Planning Commission hearing, but have spoken with the staff and have read the reports as well as the letters submitted by the adjacent neighbors. I'll try to just real quickly address a couple of things and maybe give a little bit of background. I own a land planning and engineering firm in Kentucky, originally from Arizona, and we were hired several years ago by the developer to start a planning process for the overall property, of which this parcel is a portion of. As a part of that planning process, we've known about the I-25 interchange being planned throughout that entire time, and as such have always planned that parcel to be commercial. That just fit for all the reasons that staff mentioned, but with the I-25 interchange and visibility and all that, it made the most sense. So we've always had it planned for commercial. The clients, just to clarify something that was mentioned, the intent is for the developer to actually to develop this land. It's not to get the zone change so they can sell it. Their intent is to actually develop. The motivation for doing the zone change now is obviously we've become aware that the planned interchange is moving forward, and we in fact met with members of WYOMING today, as well as an engineering firm overseeing the project, and spoke with them about how that interacts with our property as well as the planned development that we have. We've also met with the neighbors. Hopefully we've addressed and alleviated some of their concerns. I can say on behalf of the developers and the property owners that they're committed to working with the neighbors. We're aware that they were not as aware going into the plan commission meeting as we had thought. That was certainly our misunderstanding, and we apologize for that. But the developers, as well as myself, as a representative, our intent is to be more forthcoming with information and open lines of communication, and work with them as we hopefully get the zone change, but as we move forward into the development plan process. I think that's pretty much it. I can certainly answer any questions.
Questions? Commissioner Schwaber, Commissioner Henry?
Yeah, I've got one. Looks like the Hartford Road goes right through that property.
That's correct.
Does it have an easement?
It does, yes. It has an existing access easement. I think it's 30 feet wide.
30 feet wide?
Correct.
Okay. Not very wide.
That's just what it is. The what I can tell you is the interchange has accounted for that access easement as well in their plans. I could be wrong about that 30 feet, but I'm pretty sure that's what the existing easement is for D. And so they have taken that consideration into their plans. It's not something we're planning, the access through Hartford and Fairfield Road. That's a part of what WYOMING is doing.
So you'd be developing probably off of that existing road each way?
Yes, our Hartford, you can see there's sort of the lower section and then the trapezoidal piece, or whatever shape that is. The Hartford Airfield Road runs along the north of the section. So
Yeah, it's just about right there, right?
Yes, sir.
So when you develop this piece and when you develop these pieces, you'll be developing off of Hartford Road probably?
No,
No.
no. We would not. I can tell you as a planner, our focus would be internal. We would not do anything off of that road.
What I was wondering about is since it's 30 feet, you would be willing to make that a little wider down the road?
I can certainly talk to the clients and see if they're amenable to it. I mean, I don't, as far as it being a road that meets code and all those sorts of things, I really don't know the particulars. I do know, like I said, that the presence of an access easement there, we have no intent of doing anything to cut that off. You know, and like I said, we're more than happy to work with
It's a lot
the
of acres
neighbors
without a
and try to
road.
make sure that they have the access to their property uninhibited. You know, our goal here is to work with them, to be good neighbors in this process. And in fact, it was something that came up in our meeting with WYOMING and the engineering firm overseeing the interchange today, was how were you planning on connecting in and not only long-term, but also during construction.
Okay. One more, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Henry?
The Hartford Field, is that it right there? That's the runway?
I believe so, yes.
So when you develop that right on the end of that runway, then you would develop that corner with the idea that you wouldn't block the end of that runway?
Probably not, no. What I can say first is it's a kind of premature for me to make that sort of determination at this level. The goal for us certainly would be to get the zone change and then move into actual planning, but you know, that corner, there's going to be setbacks, easements. We have to be able to get from our property down to the other piece of our property where the rest of the development is. So that's a pinch point. There's no way we could put any structures there that would become a problematic from a flight pattern standpoint.
Okay.
And we would work with the neighbors on that as well. But no, I don't. And we actually modeled it based on, just real quick, but we took a look at it, sort of, and I'm not a pilot, but we took a look at what traditional takeoff and landing trajectories would be, and where we would be in our property as it relates to max building height that's allowed under the zoning ordinance, and it wasn't even close, not an issue. But we wouldn't have, if that is in fact, you know, the runway, there's no way we'll have a structure down in that corner.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Lawson? Okay, Mr. Reeves, thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in favor of zone change 15-3 to please approach the lectern. And for the third and final time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in favor of zone change 15-3 to please approach the lectern. At this time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in opposition to zone change 15-3 to please approach the lectern.
Whoa. Sorry. There we go. Okay,
And
I'm
could you
Jessie
state?
Buckingham.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. And I live at 9850 Harvard Airfield Road. That's approximately 8 miles on I-25. And I live, if I can use your,
A pointer. Bless her word.
Maybe I can show you. On Harvard Airfield Road, and I would live right in here. So my property is adjacent to Mr. Rich's property, right here. My property, and then extends down to the old B.B. Brooks headquarters, and then on over a little over a mile. Okay. Our ranch land, as well as the Wyoming Land Acquisitions Partners property represented by Mr. Rich here today, has traditionally been designated as agricultural land. My concerns over the changing of this designation to ag commercial land certainly has been, number one again, was water concerns, where Mr. Rich has told us that definitely they will not drill for water. Increased traffic on the roads primarily that were used for residential and ranch traffic. I was under the assumption that they were going to extend West Wind's roads underneath that underpass and come due east. Due east. And here tonight I hear that possibly they'll use the Hartford Airfield Road, which incidentally is a 40-foot wide easement in there. Certainly we've had concerns with this development for air, noise, pollution, as well as light pollution. The idea of devaluation of property values, and certainly aesthetic values. What presently exists is a low-density, quiet, non-commercial living area. And this was by choice that we lived out here. And Mr. Rich is proposing a development that will be high-density, noisy, and commercial in nature. And tonight I also realized that it's strictly going to be commercial. I assumed that further south that it was going to be residential, and on the north end that it was going to be commercial. Well, that's something new that I learned. Incidentally, I did not meet with Mr. Rich. This is certainly is going to be a loss of a way of life for us. No longer will we have that mountain vista, the wildlife, or the prairie vegetation that we've come to love. A highway interchange proposed by WYDOT at the first underpass on Salt Creek Highway and West Wind Road is going to bring great changes. And we realize that this interchange is needed as growth in this area has placed certainly increased traffic demands on Salt Creek Highway and all of the local roads, to the point of actually being dangerous. Old Salt Creek Highway heading south into town is narrow. There are no shoulders. We've got cement trucks, you've got gravel trucks, you've got school buses, and then all of us pouring down into that little funnel of a narrow road. So there is a need for those ramps to go onto I-25. We also have new growth in that area with McMurray Ready Mix and Granite Peak Development with that industrial park. But after discussing, I went over and talked to WYDOT as well. I wish I could have had a meeting. The gentleman that was overseeing this plan was in a meeting, but I did talk to others. And I also talked to other business entities. I talked to Ron McMurray, and he also has a project that will eventually, I think, is going to connect the airport clear over to I-25, as well as he has some projects over there at the airport that he is interested in developing, and he wants those ramps onto the highway. But what they're saying to me is, yes, WYDOT plans to move forward in 2018. But everyone is telling me, and this is as well as I did stop in and talk to the clerk over at the City Hall in Barnum, their concern certainly is the economy. And they don't know what's going to happen in the next few years. And so they're wanting to see, what monies are going to be available before anything happens. And what I'm really doing here tonight is really petitioning for time. The next couple of years is going to determine which projects are going to move forward. And I believe that the agricultural designation of these sections of land remain agricultural until everyone has a better sense of direction as to where we're going with this. Because we're talking about a plan that Mr. Rich has. It's monumental in size. It's the sheer scope of it. It's going to take a lot of planning. And like you said, they will be coming to you again, looking for water, sewers, streets, that type of thing. But I think maybe if we could just keep it this way for a few years, we can kind of see where this development is going to go. Because my feeling was, from everyone I talked to, was really money. What's the economy going to be like in 2018? Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Buckingham? Okay, thank you. At this time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in opposition to Section 15-3 to please approach the lectern. At this time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in opposition of zone change 15-3 to please approach the lectern. And for the third and final time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in opposition to zone change 15-3 to please approach the lectern. There being no one or no others to speak for or against zone change 15-3, I now declare the public hearing closed. And I will entertain a motion on zone change 15-3.
Mr. Chairman, this one is up right by the interstate. I think it's in my opinion, it's a better place to have different zoning. I would move to approve this one with the findings of fact.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? I have one for Mr. Gutierrez. What was the reasoning that the planning and zoning gave for denial?
It was the uncertainty of West Wind Boulevard, whether that was in their mind going to occur or not. It was the uncertainty related to West Wind Boulevard and whether that development, obviously that intersection is going to be the key component to this development occurring out here from an access standpoint, and they were uncertain of the future of
Okay, thank you. And I see an individual back there who looks very familiar. I've got a question for Mr. Will Fleener from WYOMING. Is this project moving forward as expected? Do we see any potential problems with funding, et cetera?
Mr. Chairman, right now, the project is in our 2018 Transportation Improvement Program. And right now, the consultant is working diligently on the design. Right now, we see nothing that would stand in the way of it progressing to contract by late 2017, 2018.
Okay, thank you. Okay, if there are no other questions.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner
you
Haynes.
know, if this area is a commercial area, that might help get that interchange in. And we've been in favor of that interchange for a lot of reasons, but one of them is the traffic around Barnett. And if this would help that interchange get in, I think that's pretty important.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.